Hello, everyone. Welcome to this session. This is a founder spotlight that we're doing today. And with me here is the founder of Sneha Milan Couture. Over to you, Sneha. Please introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. Hi, Dr. Linda. Thanks for having me. I'm Sneha Bhatnagar, and I am the founder and the designer for Sneha Milan Couture, which is a South Asian inspired clothing brand. Started about 7 years ago, and I'm really excited to be here.
Thank you. Okay, so for everyone that is watching, I have lots of questions that I've prepared for her, and she'll be, telling us more about her business. And please stay to the end. And if you have any question, feel free to drop it as a comment. I will pick it up and ask her. If not, listen to the end. Let's say you're watching this as a replay because you also get to see the questions that I have and that other people have also asked her. All right. So back to you, Sneha. Please, could you share like the origin story of your business? Like what inspired you to start it?
Sure. Actually, it was a high school dream. In high school, I took a couple of fashion courses and already had some interest in sketching. Obviously, I didn't pursue it as a career at that time. I went into business administration, but it stuck with me because I felt that it was a passion. And later on, after I graduated, I got an opportunity. And sometimes, it's hard to see that your high school dream or a dream can come true, but the opportunity came to me. Obviously, I grabbed onto it, and which was about 7 years ago. I decided to have my own label. I had been thinking about it, and since I loved sketching, a lot of times I would be sitting and sketching outfits, and the South Asian outfits, they are just elaborate in terms of the embroideries and colors, and I just enjoyed that very much. And later on, as I was working as well, I decided to, go on this new journey and start my own label. So that was about 7 years ago. Decided to take that path. So that's how it all kind of started. I had initially liaised with a team in India where we did all the embroideries and coordinated with clients over here. For all the designs, pretty much all the custom pieces. That's how it started about 7 years ago. So
Hmm.
it's been some time.
Yeah, that's amazing. Listening to you, what comes to my mind is was there anything in your background that prepared you for this? Like aside the fashion programs you took at younger age?
So I took it because obviously I had a certain interest in it.
Mm.
I just didn't know where that would take me. And obviously at that time, I had thought about it that maybe I take it on as a career or as a course. Just didn't at that time. I thought maybe later on I could switch to it. But I am glad that I was able to still go ahead and pursue it, because
Mhm.
sometimes what you think back then, it doesn't always come true. So I'm fortunate to have had that opportunity and be able to continue that. But and again, being South Asian myself, I was born and I grew up in Kuwait, which is kind of the Middle Eastern culture, but obviously parents and our background is Indian. And then we moved to Canada when I was in high school. So a blend of all of those different cultures, I think those are embedded in my designs, because obviously I grew up seeing many different cultures and styles. So I try to incorporate those into my designs. And obviously for a global audience,
Mm.
it's not specific to, to a certain audience. So I want to build it, and I'm continuing to build it as a brand more for a global audience that, just loves fashion and uniqueness about the outfits.
Sure. So, what are your core products?
So we do. So in India, they have. I don't know if many of them are aware of it, but you have like these skirts and like crop tops with a scarf. Those are called lehengas,
Mhm.
and then there are saris, which are kind of drapes, and also gowns. or like fusion kind of pantsuit. So there are multiple different products, but mostly it's aligned around, the lehengas or the saris, and most of the product core products would be that, because those also, there's a lot of creativeness that goes into designing these outfits, which is what I enjoy, right? If I get a new order to design a lehenga, there's a lot of thought process that goes into it. So because I enjoy that, I'm passionate about that. Right now, core products would be about 5 to 6 core products that if you go on my website or my social media,
Mhm.
of course, I enhance those and design them differently, but typically that's what it's called. It's a lehenga or it's a sari or, fusion
Mhm.
skirt crop top, but again, would have a bit of a South Asian inspired look.
I see. Is it for women only or men and women that you design for?
So it's both, but I would say primarily women right now. I did start off and I did have a men's line. But right now, I think I've shifted my focus to more women. Hopefully, in the future, I will restart and, make some new pieces for men. But primarily right now, it's for women.
Hmm, I see. Okay. Then another question that comes to my mind is, what kind of ceremony do you use these clothes for? Is it like everyday wear? Like, is it parties? Is it
Yeah.
corporate event? What kind of?
Yeah, so it's mostly party or cocktail kind of events. I haven't gotten much into bridal. I think that is going to be the next step eventually. But right now, it's because especially with South Asian or Indian weddings, you have a lot of pre-events even before the wedding. So I
Hmm,
think right now my focus is on those pre-events, or if you're attending a friend's event, right? It's okay to wear kind of course, they're heavy outfits, but not particularly your wedding outfit. So that the bridal ones, I am slowly trying to get into that, but that's a different market altogether.
mhm,
But some brides right now too, they prefer more simple, easy to wear. So most of my outfits are easy to wear. Just put it on and you're ready to go. And a lot of brides now are preferring that as well.
mhm.
So I'm slowly trying to get into that market as well. But right now, you would say a lot of it is cocktail wear or reception wear or um, kind of getting into the bridal side, like simpler.
I get you. I get you. What, in your opinion, what sets your brand or designs apart from that of your competitors?
Yeah, so obviously based in Canada, of course, if you go to India, you will see tons and tons of designers and designs out there. But obviously, living in Canada, there are some competitors out there, but I feel it's not that many. It's not saturated yet within Canada. So what I feel I can offer, a lot of my pieces right now are also Canadian made. Before I used to do them in India, have them shipped here. I felt like I needed a bit more control in terms of the actual process. So now I hand source fabrics to just everything start to finish, and I get them done here. So I feel that what sets me apart is also, of course, the designs. There are a little bit more fusion that you don't find too many in the market here, as well
Mhm.
as faster. And I'm hoping and aiming for good customer service. So far, I've been fortunate to, or just the clients have been great, to work with. That I'm trying to build upon because I think key to success, especially in this industry, and you're in the business, is also customer service, right? So I listen to my clients, I listen to what they want because I do a lot of custom pieces. So I think what sets me apart is probably, of course, the design aspect, but also the customer service and fast delivery, especially if you're within North America or the European region. So yeah, I think that's what sets me apart, and it's learning every day, right? So you're building upon that, new things you learn every day, even to build your business. So I would say that.
Sure. Okay. So let's look at milestones, right? business milestones have you achieved so far? I know you have a lot being featured in magazines, but tell us more.
So something that obviously just stands out, and for me, it was obviously I felt like an achievement was when I did I was part of the New York Fashion Week as well as the Paris Fashion Week. I was I had the I was fortunate enough to showcase my collections,
Mhm.
and at that time it didn't obviously, there's so much going on that you don't realize. But later on, when you reflect back, obviously, I felt like that was a milestone for my business. And of course, a component of that is brand building and all of that as well. But I felt like doing those shows it was such a great experience to be part of that. And you always come out learning something new and meet such great people. And to be able to showcase, especially South Asian inspired outfits at these kind of prestigious events was definitely a great experience and a milestone for my business, I would say.
Sure. Okay. Tell us more about the features on some big name magazines.
Yeah, so as part of those shows, I had some interviews with Elle, and we were featured in the Vogue, which again was also a pretty big milestone.
Yeah.
So I think it was in the Paris Fashion Week that some of the outfits were featured. In some of these magazines, as well as the Glamour magazine, which is after our New York Fashion Week, and there were a lot of interviews and coverage and media that I was a part of, which again was a new experience for me, and it was great, right, to be able to be there, part of that, and it's
Yeah.
just a great experience overall. So yeah, I was featured in some of those magazines. I also did a show in Toronto, and of course that feels different when it's your hometown.
Hmm.
And I came out with the collection was called Easy Breezy, so it was very colorful, just lightweight, and had the opportunity to obviously do that in Toronto as well. So which was also another great milestone.
Yeah. I'm going to ask you a question here, which is when is your next Toronto one? Because I want to come.
For sure, nothing planned as yet. There are a few things that are going on. Some other exciting projects for the rest of the year. So, I'm trying to decide. If I am doing another show, I think I want to be strategic about it. Where do I want to do it, and also again because I want to portray it as a global brand. There's just so many opportunities out there. So I just need to be strategic in
Mhm.
what to do next, but. Nothing planned yet, but definitely we'll let you know if there's another one
Sure.
coming up in Toronto.
Let me ask you a question. So, assuming there's a show coming up for you, where is one likely to find that information? Will it be your website or Instagram or both?
So it would be both, but I think first everything just goes on Instagram. It's just
Okay.
easier to manage, stories, posts, and then obviously it would be followed on to the website as well. But most of our announcements, are made in Instagram, and usually we do it a bit ahead of time. So obviously it gives the opportunity for anyone who would like to come out enough time for them to be there. So I would love that. Obviously, anytime I do any shows, especially in Toronto.
Uh-huh.
It would be nice to have the local audience there supporting.
Sure. Okay. So let's look at challenges because it's like as one is achieving these milestones, I'm sure there are challenges there. So, are there challenges you faced, especially at the earlier stages, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah. So obviously, any new business or you enter into a new journey comes with its own challenges. I think it's how you perceive those challenges. So I actually started this when I was expecting my first baby.
Mhm.
And, it was a decision that I had to make at that time too, because obviously you're going into motherhood and then you just decided to start this new journey. But because I was so passionate about it and didn't want to let go of the opportunity, obviously I decided to do both in parallel. The challenges, obviously, there are challenges of being a new mom. And then I remember I had to be up at night for the baby, and then I would be coordinating, doing FaceTime calls with my team in India at that time, because that was the time where they could go and start sourcing, and we could work on the embroideries and stuff. But I don't know, I just enjoyed it. I think that's when you know that you enjoy doing your, it's not really work. Again, I was quite passionate about it, so just try to juggle both, which was at that time obviously challenging, but I was able to overcome it just because I enjoyed what I did. And then I had to be conscious of the time that I spend, right? I made sure that I do take breaks. And I think you automatically start becoming a bit more productive because you need to make decisions soon. I can't let things just go. If you want to move on to the next step, you just have to make those quick decisions. And sometimes that works out. Obviously, you learn as you go. So obviously that there were challenges along that, and also fashion industry, as you already know, it's a pretty saturated industry, right? So how do you make your brand stand out? And I think I've diverted quite a bit in terms of strategies, in terms of started in India, and of course I still have a team there. I have a few folks depending on the requirement, right? And then I have a team here that I work with. So I had to kind of pivot in between, figure things out. And I think those are all the challenges that anyone faces in any new business or when you go on this journey. So I think mine was no different. And also funding it, figuring that piece out, because when it comes to clothing, it's not like you're building a website or where you just have to put your time in because you have the skills. This is an actual product, right? So there's cost of materials, there's a cost associated to that as well. So even managing that in the beginning, how everything is going to work out. So it took me some time to figure out the right vendors, the right team, and all of those things, right? That were part of the challenges that I had faced. And of course I would still face some of them, right, in a
Yeah.
different way, but that's part of the journey.
Yeah, that's part of entrepreneurial journey because when you were talking about challenges and having teams in a different place, what came to my mind is the time zone difference. I think it's about 12 hours. Am I correct? Or how many hours?
Yeah, it's about
Yeah,
I would
so
say
that's
around, or
it.
10. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a total flip. I remember one time when I went to Australia from Canada, it was like 12 hours different.
Yeah.
You are up at night talking to team here, and then you are up during the day working there. Like after a couple of days, I was breaking down already. So just handling that alone is a lot to manage.
Yeah. Yeah, and
Mm,
then you learn. And then I felt like, again, as I said, I did bring few things in house within Canada. So I had some control. I could do
mm,
things faster. Clients that don't require, let's say, embroideries, start to finish, because you don't have many vendors that can do that here.
mm,
So for those kind of orders, I have to work with my team in India, and that's okay. So I've kind of separated what I do here, what I do there, and
mm.
manage it that way, right? Based on the audience, based on the ask. So I felt like that has worked out, right, so far. So I don't know what the future holds, but so far, so far, I think that has worked in my favor.
Sure. Okay. So let's look at you talked about making decisions. So how do you approach decision making under uncertainty?
Yeah. Of course, in any decision you make right now, just because it's new for your specific brand or your business, there will be uncertainties. But I think when I started out, um, there's a lot going on, right? So you want to assess all options. You want to assess, there's a lot of time that goes into it. So
Mhm.
now I think my strategy is that, of course, I still look at few things, but I don't just spend a lot of time, because there will be uncertainties no matter which option that I go with. So whatever feels right in at that moment for the business, I think I've just learned to make those quick decisions, because otherwise I feel like you're just at a pause. You're not able to move forward, and no matter which way you go, you're going to face some challenges, and you learn from it. Okay, fine. made a decision and maybe that didn't go exactly the way I planned. So I always
Mhm.
have like a plan B or a backup, or, just think of, okay, if this doesn't work, what else, right? What else we could do instead of just taking too long. And there are a lot of uncertainties. That's never going to go away, right? So how do you move forward? Uh, Knowing that there are uncertainties, you just learn from it and then you pivot as needed.
Okay. So let's look at collaboration. Like, what type of short-term collaboration are you looking to engage in, if any?
So far, I mean, in terms of, again, for the fashion industry, the type of collaborations that, again, I have worked on or I see myself are mostly you work with influencers or, uh, and I've worked with a lot of them in the past. The only difference now is the type of collaborators that I'm looking for are that kind of fit the vision, right?
Mhm.
Because what I've learned is you can collaborate, right? But if it's not aligning to your goals and your vision, just because it makes sense at that time, it didn't always work out, right? So I have to be very strict. Now I'm okay to say no to certain collaborations, right? Because it just doesn't fit with where I want to take the business or with the branding and with
Mhm.
certain things like that. So now the focus has shifted to, okay, which collaborators do they reach or are able to influence my target audience? And have to be strategic in terms of that. So beyond those type of collaborations right now, there isn't anything more. But in the fashion industry, I think it's quite important for brand building to have those kind of collaborations as well. So yeah, at this point, it's just strategic, just being strategic and making sure it aligns with my vision as well.
Okay. So, what are your core values, especially if there's any that you have seen that you have that has influenced your business or how you do business?
I think persistency. I think what I've learned, and I over time is, again, in an industry like this, it's just too much competition, right? It's very easy to just um, kind of stop doing what you're doing because not every day is the best day, right? You have challenges and you question what you're doing. But I think, and what I had read somewhere also, was just being persistent in what you do. And I go by that, right? Even if I'm spending whatever time, I'm being diligent, right? So I try to make sure that if I'm spending 2 hours, 3 hours on certain thing, then make sure that I'm present and the focus is there. Because or I don't do it, right? Or I'm not gonna look at it, right? If there's something new that I need to do, okay, I'm gonna put my focus to it and do it. Otherwise, I'll come to it when I'm ready. So there are a couple of things. Again, being persistent, just keep on going, because the doors just, they open, right? I've heard all these things, and when you actually see that happening, it's kind of interesting to see, right? Like I don't know, right? After this interview, like, you just don't know. And I've experienced that in pretty much everything that I have done. So I just feel like you just keep on going, right? And you have to be persistent, and then put your focus to anything that you're doing, even if it's for half an hour, 1 hour. Make sure you're present. And those are a few things that I just make sure that I repeat on an everyday basis, and that's why I'm able to keep on going.
Mhm. Okay. So, what about long-term partnerships? I know we've talked about collaborations, which sometimes some of them could be like maybe one time or, project focus. But now I'm talking specifically about like long-term partnerships. Are there long-term partnerships that you desire? If yes, what kind?
So partnerships, I think I would want to slowly get into bigger projects, right? I want to work on, obviously, right now the business is, you have clothing, and that's what we are, obviously, I'm selling. But I just want to be part of maybe bigger projects, like bigger, I would like to say movies, but
Okay.
something where you are kind of involved as a costume designer, right? You're able to do that from start to finish, or again, align. Again, I don't know if there are partnerships per se, but that, I think the vision is to go beyond this. Obviously, this will stay as my your core business, right? Where I'm able to do custom designing, but I also want to get into certain different areas where have some mini projects to work on, and those kind of partnerships. And we'll see
Mm.
how that pans out.
It's okay. It's just for it's like for the sake of even the people listening too, and perhaps who knows, there's a partnership somewhere
Who
waiting to
knows?
call. Yeah, and sometimes too, somebody has been looking for what you offer. They're just hoping that they're going to run into somebody who offers this. Like there've been times looking for maybe these not partnerships, but I'm just using this as an example, right? There have been times when I've been looking for where to make custom clothes because I love like some certain kind of clothes that I can't just buy off the rack. And I've seen myself ordering those from across the sea, from a
Yeah,
different totally continent. So, it- and I feel so happy knowing that there is somebody that is within my province that can do something custom,
I
right?
would love to.
So, so sometimes somebody has been looking for you, but they haven't found. So it's good. Who knows? Okay. So let's look at your vision for the company.
So I think I said some of it already, but of course I
Yeah.
want to grow and I want to grow globally. That's my plan. I obviously based in Canada, and I have a team in India, but I think I want to grow beyond that and just have a global presence. Like I want Sneha Milan Couture to be a global brand, that people in different countries, hopefully, um, you know, just want to be associated with the brand, right? Or again, I think it's a journey and figuring it out every single day. But I think that's my vision. We are starting some new campaigns. There's one that's coming up, which is again calling it revival. So what we're doing is, and again, I don't think it's something many designers do because usually they have their own label, right? I have my own label, I have my own designs, but what I want to do is, again, being environmentally conscious, be able to take what people may have in terms of fabrics or saris, those are again lots of fabric, be able to take that and turn it into a Sneha Milan piece, and a design. So something that you have existing, be able to alter that into a designer piece, right? I don't know if it's common. A lot of designer labels maybe not do that, but it's something that I want to explore. So there are a lot of plans for this year. Starting something new that I have never done before. So that's where I see, in terms of the growth of the brand itself, and again, keep on building on the global presence and a global audience.
That's awesome. Okay, let's look at what advice you have for someone starting their own entrepreneurial journey.
Yeah, I just want to say go for it. There'll be doubts and questions, but I think if it's something that you're passionate about, you just have to start. And again, as I said previously, you have to be persistent. The journey is, again, it could be a roller coaster ride with lots of ups and downs, but you have that hope. Then you just need to go ahead with it and have that persistency to want to continue, right? So I would say, and then figuring out time management. So building upon those skills will never go to waste. So I would just say that, yeah, if anyone wants to start something, I think there's no age time limit. I think they should just go ahead.
Awesome. Okay, let's look at what business lessons have you learned that you wish you knew earlier?
Those were, I think, around decision making, where I took long time and just dragging on in terms of making a decision because not knowing what's going to happen. um, but that just comes with experience too. Obviously I would want to go back and change a few things. Maybe some things could have been fast tracked or been a bit different. So that would definitely be one, that just decision making, I think in general has improved.
Mm-hmm.
But just taking the time, like, there'll always be uncertainties, so just go with it, make a quick decision, three options, pick one and go with it. and again, managing and balancing things. I think all of that comes with experience again. So I wouldn't say I would go back and change anything. I think that has taught me, and I am where I am because of those experiences. So yeah, those are lessons learned over time, which I'm obviously incorporating into my strategies now and how I do things and how I take it forward.
I get you. So, if somebody wants to learn more about, your business, your team, those kind of things, where do you suggest that they go to? Is it like your
Um,
website, or what's your website? Yeah.
Yeah, so the website's called snehamilan.com. And of course, that has, list of the products and the pricing and things like that. You can also reach out to us through the website, but also Instagram. Instagram is obviously where kind of day to day we keep it updated with posts and things. So Instagram, again, is like Sneha_Milan_Couture. But you can check out anything new that's coming up, all the new products, we post them right away. So that would be, I think Instagram would definitely be one with most of it on it. And also you can message us within Instagram as well. And, our team is ready to respond.
I see. So, a bit of how it works. So, let's say a client wants to uh, get something made by you. Like, what do they do? Is it like message you, or go to your
Yeah.
website and fill in a form, or like
Yeah.
what's the process like?
Yeah, so they go to the website, fill a form, but a lot of them actually reach out directly on Instagram. And then I have my contact details and the number on there too. So then we either discuss further within Instagram chat, or we do a WhatsApp, because the WhatsApp for business obviously is pretty handy when it comes to these kind of businesses, and especially the coordination. And as soon as I get a new request, obviously depending on what their requirements are, we just work we do a virtual call, just to talk through the initial requirements. And then how the process work really is, if it's a custom outfit, I go out and I source and I make sure the client is aware of all the steps, right? Because the last thing you want are surprises.
Mhm.
So I make sure that, I think, to me it's very important to maintain that communication. So I like designing specific designer pieces that are different from each other. So I enjoy doing that. I do have some ready to wear outfits as well, but they would just message on Instagram or WhatsApp, and then we go through the entire designing process from there, from pictures of the fabric and anything else that I'm putting on it. Then I'll sketch it out and I'll send it to them. We'll align what the front, back, everything, will be documented. So we're on the same page. And then I make sure I send them work in progress videos, pictures, any realignment that is needed along the process. So, and sometimes, there are clients that may not agree to the first thing that you send. That's part of the process, right? So, for me, again, client needs to be happy. And in the end, after the outfit is delivered, if there are any alterations, everything, all of that is included. We make sure that it's to their satisfaction and they're happy.
Okay. Okay. So, what question do you wish that I asked you, but I have not asked you yet?
Oh my God. I think you've asked me a lot of questions. I can't call out anyone that you may not have asked. I think we have covered everything from how it all started to where I see it going, and anything new that I'm planning in between. So I think we have covered most of the topics here.
Okay, so let me give you time for final comments on for the person that is watching us right now.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. First of all, thank you for having me here. It was a great opportunity to be here and actually be able to share my journey and my experience. I hope that whoever's watching was able to resonate maybe with some of it, or if they have any other questions, even just as an entrepreneur, or doesn't have to be fashion related, right? If they even have any other questions along the journey and the challenges and anything along those lines, I'm very happy to help. And again, they can reach out on Instagram. But thank you for having me. It's been great.
It's okay. Thank you very much for joining us today, and for the person watching, thank you for staying to this time. So, yeah. Okay, we hope to see you again sometime soon.
Yes, and you can come by and I can design a custom outfit. All
Okay.
right.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you for having me.
Sure. Same here. Bye bye.
Bye.